Hello everyone, this is Akshay over here, and this video is going to be a continuation of chapter 1, that is Living World. So our planet, we know that the diversity is very huge and immense, and basically the number and different type of organisms that live on our planet, we refer it as biodiversity, right? So if we look into the number of species that actually have been described properly till date, it ranges between 1.7 to 1.8 million species. And generally we also see that the many plants and animals are known by local names, and local names generally vary from place to place. For example, we can see that this bird, the English name for this bird is a sparrow, but in my native language we call it as gupachi, and in Japan it is known by the name suzume, and in France it is moneyu, while in Italy it is passero. No, passero if it is a male bird, but if it's a female bird, it becomes a passera, right? So you can see that there is a lot of confusion that lies in the local names, and local names actually vary from place to place, even within a country also. Like for example, in my mother tongue it is called as Gubachi, but in Tamil it is called as Kuruvi, and in Urdu it is called as Chidiya, Gauraya in Hindi, and so on, right? So it definitely leads to a lot of confusion. So to avoid confusion, we need to introduce some standardized naming process and or standardized names to organism. And in this case, the scientific name for sparrow is Passer domesticus. So who actually names these organisms? So for plant species, the plant names are actually given by an organization called as the ICBN, that is International Code for Botanical Nomenclature, while the animal names are given by an organization called as the ICZN, that is International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. So the method or the system that are actually we have adopted also for the naming is the binomial nomenclature, and this system was introduced by a person called as Carlos Linnaeus. So basically the scientific name in binomial nomenclature is having two parts or two components, or we can call it as two name system, right? So the first part of the name is generally generic or indicates the genus, while the second part of the name is very much specific to that particular species, hence it is called as specific epithet or specific name. So we can't name any organism, any animal or any plant randomly. So there are some rules in the binomial nomenclature. So the first rule that we follow is that the name should be always a Latin derived. The origin should be from Latin language, and if the name is being printed, it should be in italics. But if it is handwritten, it should be underlined separately. What do we mean by underlined separately? The genus name should be underlined, and also the specific epithet should be underlined, and this underlining should be separately. Now, the first alphabet of the genus should start from capital, and the specific epithet starts with the small letter, and finally the person who has described it for the first time, also his name comes last, but it should be in the abbreviated form. So we can look into an example for this, that is a mango, and the scientific name for mango is Mangifera indica. So this name Mangifera indica, according to binomial nomenclature, it is made up of two parts. The first part is the Mangifera, which indicates the genus, and the second part of the name is called as the specific epithet. So this rule actually has been satisfied, and the name itself is also from Latin origin, and as it is being printed, you can see that it is present in italics, and you can also see that the genus name starts from the capital M, right? And the species name starts with a small letter I, that is indica, starts with a small letter I. And you can also see that the last Lin stands for the person who actually described it for the first time, and in this case it is none other than the Carlos Linnaeus. So the classification is actually a grouping of organisms into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. So organisms are placed into taxonomic categories, which we call it as taxa or taxon. We'll be looking into this shortly later. So now, taxonomy is a process of classification of organisms based on characters. The taxonomic process mainly includes characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature. Modern taxonomic basis also includes understanding or considering the external and internal structure of an organism, structure of cell, developmental process, basically embryonic development, and ecological aspects of an organism. So we are also having one more term called as a systematics, which mainly considers evolutionary relationship among the organisms. The term systematic itself is derived from a Latin term that is a systema. In fact, Carlos Linnaeus also used the name Systema Naturae for his publication. So systematics is basically systematic arrangement of organisms. So now we will be looking into taxonomic categories. So classification is a multi-step process. Okay, it's a stepwise process. And each step in the classification, we refer it as a taxonomic category. Taxonomic category is basically a unit of classification, and we refer it with a scientific term, that is the taxon, or also known as rank. All taxonomic categories make the taxonomic hierarchy. We can look here that there are 7 taxonomic ranks or 7 taxon. Each taxon, what we are looking here, is actually a taxonomic category. So beginning with the lowest, that is species. Different species with common characters are actually placed into the genus. Different genus or different genera with common characters are placed into family, and family is placed into order, and order is placed into class, and class is placed into phylum or division. Remember, the term division is mainly applicable in the case of plant classification only. So it is an equivalent term of phylum, but used only in the plant classification. So phylum or division is finally placed into the highest taxonomic rank, that is the kingdom. Remember, the lowest is a species and kingdom is the highest. So there's another point that we have to remember, which is very important. As we move on from lower taxonomic rank to the higher taxonomic rank, the number of common characters goes on decreasing. Remember this. So the common characters are generally higher in the lower taxonomic rank, but as we move on further to the higher taxonomic rank, the common characters goes on decreasing. So here we are actually having an example, that is we are considering 3 species over here: Panthera leo, Panthera tigris, Panthera pardus. Panthera pardus is a leopard, Panthera tigris is tiger, Panthera leo is lion. Right? You can see that in all the 3 species, the generic name is common, that is Panthera leo, Panthera again tigris, Panthera pardus. So which means that these 3 species actually belong to a common genus, that is Panthera. So along with Panthera, there is another genus called as the Felis, which mainly includes cats. So Felis and Panthera are placed into one common family called as the Felidae. So along with Felidae, there is another family called as the Canidae, which mainly includes dogs, and they are placed into one common order called as the Carnivora. Carnivora, along with another order called as a primate, which mainly includes humans, gibbons, monkeys, and other animals such as even chimpanzees and also gorillas, including orangutans. They are placed into one common class called as the mammals. So like mammals, there are other classes also, right? So the other classes are fishes, amphibians, reptilians, and apes. All these classes are included into Chordata, and it belongs to the second highest rank, that is the phylum. And finally, the Chordata is placed into the Animalia, which comes into the highest taxonomic rank, that is the kingdom. So we can look into another example over here, that is Solanum tuberosum, Solanum nigrum, Solanum melongena. So as you can clearly make out that all of these 3 species actually come into one common genera, that is the Solanum. And the Solanum genus is actually placed into one family called as Solanaceae. So in the case of plants, the family is characterized by considering the vegetative and reproductive structures of plants. Now Solanaceae family is placed into one order called as the Polymonials. So we will look into some examples of some organisms with their common name, biological name, genus, family, order, class, and phylum or division. Right? In the case of man, the biological name is Homo sapien, the genus is Homo, family is Hominidae, order is Primata, class is Mammalia, and phylum is Chordata. Now for housefly, the scientific name is Musca domestica, the genus is Musca, and the family is Musidae, and the order is Diptera, class is Insecta, and phylum is Arthropoda. So the next one is mango, a plant, and the biological name or scientific name for mango is Mangifera indica. The genus is Mangifera, family is Anacardiaceae, and order is Sapindales, class is Dicotyledone, and the division is Angiospermae. The last one we will be looking into is the wheat. The scientific name is Triticum aestivum, the genus is Triticum, and the family is Poaceae, order is Poales, class is Monocotyledone, and the division is Angiospermae. So the last aspect of this chapter is taxonomic aids. So taxonomic aids are basically references for the clear identification of any specimen, right? And basically they are preserved specimens which are used in identification of and understanding a particular specimen. So here we are actually having 8 taxonomic aids. The first one is being the herbarium. So herbarium is a storehouse of a plant specimen where they are mainly dried, pressed and preserved on particular sheets called as the herbarium sheets. So they also contain information such as the date and place of collection, the English, local and botanical names, family, and the person who collected it, his name or her name is also present on that. So the importance of herbarium is that it is actually a quick referral system. Now the next one is botanical garden, where living plants are present. That is, it is a collection of living plants which can be used for references. So you can see that there is one garden which is present in Kew, England, which is the largest botanical garden in the world. The next one we are having is the Indian Botanical Garden at Howrah, India. So this is the largest botanical garden which is present in our country. And we are having one more botanical garden at the National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow. The next taxonomic aid is a museum. So museum is mainly set up by the educational institutions, and here the plant and animals are actually preserved in certain preservative solutions. So insects are also preserved. Basically they are collected, they are killed and they are actually pinned. In the case of large animals, they are actually stuffed. So we are having similar to botanical gardens. In the case of animals, we are having zoological parks where live wild animals are kept under human care in a protected area. So the main advantage is that we can actually understand their behavior and food preferences. And slightly more technical taxonomic aid is key. So it is mainly used for identification of plants and animals based on certain similarities and dissimilarities. So here there should be a choice between two opposite options. And when one particular option is actually chosen, it results in the acceptance of one option and another option is actually rejected. So basically here each statement which is actually being given to the person who is using the taxonomic key is called as the lead. And the taxonomic keys are actually analytical in nature. So finally we are having flora, manuals and monographs. So flora gives an actual account of plant distribution and their habitat in a particular given area. So flora are also important because they provide the index of plant species found in particular area. So manuals are mainly providing an information of a species that are found in an area and we can use it for identification purpose. And finally, monographs mainly contain information about any one particular taxon. Only one specific taxon will be described or discussed in detail in the monographs. So we will look into some multiple choice questions over here. So the first question is, which of the following are unique features of living organisms? Growth and reproduction, reproduction and ability to sense the environment, metabolism and interaction, all of the above. So it's all of the above. Growth and reproduction are unique features, but not all in one, we can say all in unique features. Ability to sense the environment, metabolism, they are unique features. Now moving on, which of the following factors exclusively affect reproduction in seasonal breeders, both plants and animals? water, temperature, photoperiod, all of these. So basically the first three options are actually abiotic factors. So in the case of seasonal breeders, light plays a very important role. So light is the one that actually activates the gonad in many seasonal breeders. So based upon this point, we can say that the photoperiod is the right option. And in fact, it is. Moving on, in unicellular organisms, with respect to growth and reproduction, which of the following statement can be true? Growth and reproduction are inclusive events. Unicellular organisms grow by cell division. Both are exclusive. So the option is only one is correct, only second statement is correct. Both first and second statements are correct, only third statement is correct. So we know that reproduction and growth in the case of unicellular, they are synonymous, right? And we also know that unicellular organisms grow by cell division. So in this case, both first and second statements are actually correct. So the next question is, binomial nomenclature means, it is a very simple question. One name given by the two scientists, one scientific name consisting of generic and specific epithet, two names, one Latinized of a person, two names of a same plant. So it is very clear that second option is the right one. That is one scientific name consisting of a generic and a specific epithet. So the next question, systematic refers to identification and classification of plants and animals, nomenclature and identification of plants and animals, diversity of kinds of organisms and their relationships, different kinds of organisms and their classification. So we know that systematics mainly considers the evolutionary relationships among the organism. So here it is mainly the third option, that is diversity of kinds of organisms and also their relationship. The next question is, each category of taxonomic hierarchy refers to as a unit of, first option systematic, second option identification, nomenclature, the last option is classification. So as we know, each category in a taxonomic hierarchy is called as unit of classification. So classification, fourth option is the right answer over here. Which of the following taxonomic aid provides information for identification of names of species found in an area? Option A, monograph, option B, manual, option C, flora, and option D, periodical. The answer is manual. So manual is a taxonomic aid that provides information of identification of names of species given in an area. So the next question, which of the following taxonomic aid is used for identification of plants and animals based on similarities and dissimilarities? It is very easy, that is the keys. Option B, that is keys. Option A is flora, option B is keys, option C is monograph, D is catalog. So it was a very easy question. So now, which of the following statements is or are correct? So the first statement is, a classification is providing of standardized names to the organism such that a particular organism known by the same name all over the world. Second statement, taxonomy is a correct description of organism and to recognition in its scientific name. Third statement, the system of naming with the two components, that is binomial nomenclature, is proposed by Carlos Linnaeus. The fourth statement, zoological names are based on International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. So option A, only first statement is correct. Option B, both third and fourth statements are correct. Option C, only fourth statement is correct. Option D, all of these. So we know that the binomial nomenclature actually has been given by Carlos Linnaeus, and ICZN is the organization which is responsible for giving these zoological names. So it is clearly that both 3 and 4 are correct. So now, which of the following is the correct sequence of various steps of herbarium formation? So here we are having jumbled steps. So the first step is drying, next is poisoning, collection, labeling, mounting, deposition and stitching. The first step is collection of a plant specimen. So after a plant specimen is collected, it should be dried, and after drying it should be poisoned. The next is mounting, means placing it on a sheet called as herbarium sheet. After mounting, it is stitching so that the specimen should adhere to that particular herbarium sheet. And next is labeling, means giving all the relevant information about that particular specimen, and finally depositing or deposition of that particular specimen into a herbarium. So looking into all these steps, the first option is the right one over here. That is the collection, drying, poisoning, mounting, stitching, labeling and deposition. So the first option is the right one. Match the common name given in the column 1 and their taxonomic category order given in the column 2 and choose the correct combination from the options given below. So the common name is coming into the column 1 and the column 2 contains the taxonomic category, that is the order. So wheat, mango, housefly, man, right? So we know that wheat comes into poales, mango comes into sapindales, housefly comes into diptera, and man belongs to the order Primata. So based upon this, second option is the right one. So the next question. So this question, what we are looking here is actually a previous year NEET question. Select the correctly written scientific name of mango, which was described by Carlos Linnaeus. Mangifera indica Car Lin, Mangifera indica Lin, Mangifera indica, Mangifera indica. Right? So we all know that the name should be italicized. The genus name should begin with the capital letter, and the specific epithet or the species specific name should begin with the small letter, and lastly, after the specific epithet, abbreviated form of the person who identified and described it. Right? So based on that, second option is the right one, Mangifera indica Lin. Now moving on. Which of the following statement is or are not correct? Reproduction is the production of progeny possessing features dissimilar to their parents. The fungi, filamentous algae, the protonema of mosses all multiply by budding. Many organisms like mules, sterile worker bees do not reproduce. Reproduction is not an all-inclusive defining feature or characteristic of living organism. Right? So they have asked a not correct option, wrong statement. We have to identify the wrong statement, right? So we know that reproduction is the production of progeny which are possessing somewhat similar to their parents, right? Not dissimilar to their parents. So the first statement is the wrong one, and the fungi, the filamentous algae, protonema of mosses multiply by budding, but actually they multiply by fragmentation. Right? So the first and second statements are the wrong one. Hence the right option that contains the wrong statement is the option second. That is both 1 and 2. The next question. The taxonomic unit phylum in the classification of animals is equivalent to which hierarchical level in classification of plants? Option A, class, B, order, C, division, and D, family. So we all know phylum is used in the case of animals, and a division is equivalent to phylum but applicable only in the case of plants. So the option is C, that is the division. So again, identify the order from the following. So this question is a previous year CET question. Identify the order from the following: Carnivora, Mucidae, Insecta, Panthera. So we have discussed in the taxonomic hierarchy, Carnivora is actually an order, Mucidae is a family, Insecta is a class, and Panthera is actually a genus. So Carnivora is the right option. So again, this question is previously appeared NEET question. So match the items given in the column 1 with those in the column 2 and select the correct option given below. So the column 1 contains mainly the taxonomic aid, as you can see over here, and the column 2 mainly contains the respective information about that particular taxonomic aid, right? So herbarium, key, museum, and catalog. You can see that herbarium is a place where we actually keep the pressed plant specimens, right? So for A, third option is matching, right? So now what is a key? It matches with the fourth option given in the column 2. That is, it is a booklet containing a list of characters and their alternates which are helpful in identification of various taxa. Now the museum matches with the option 1 from the column 2. That is, it's a place where a collection of preserved and plant and animal specimens are kept. Finally, the catalog, D. So it matches with the last one, remaining one, that is the 2 from the column 2. That is, it is a list that enumerates methodically all the species found in an area with brief description adding identification. So obviously the answer has been already marked over here. That is the fourth option. So moving on, we are having in a taxonomic hierarchy, the number of common characters will increase as we go from species to kingdom, kingdom to species, class to order, genus to species. So we have discussed that the common characters will go on decreasing if we move from species to kingdom, right? But the question states that the common characters will increase as we go from. So if it is decreasing from species to kingdom, obviously from kingdom to species it should increase. So the right option over here is option 2, that is kingdom to species. So the next one is again a previously appeared CET question. That is, the correct sequence of taxonomic hierarchy is option A, genus, family, class, order, phylum, kingdom, species. Option B, species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, kingdom. Option C, species, family, genus, kingdom, order, class, phylum. Option D, species, genus, family, class, order, phylum, kingdom. So we know that species are actually placed into genus, and genus is placed into family, and family is placed into order, order is placed into class, class into phylum, and phylum into kingdom, and B is the appropriate option among all the four. Now, the last question, and this is a neat question, a previously appeared a neat question. Nomenclature is governed by certain universal rules. Which of the following is contrary to the rules of nomenclature? The first option is, when written by hand, the names are to be underlined. Second option, biological names can be written in any language. Third option, the first word in a biological name represents the genus name and the second is a specific epithet. And fourth option, the last option is the names are written in a Latin and are italicized. So the second option is the wrong one, because you cannot write the name in any language. It should be written only in the Latin language. So the answer is 2. Biological names can be written in any language. You cannot do that, right? You have to follow certain rules. So this one is the wrong option among the all remaining 3. So this completes the chapter, the living world. So if you're having any opinion regarding this video, you can give it in the comment. You can give it in the comments for the further improvement. So if you have liked the video, you can like it and do share it among your friends, and finally subscribe to this particular channel. Thank you.